The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And it's a Tuesday at high noon inside the SWBC podcast studio here at the Star in Frisco. And wow, what an NFL schedule we have for you on Sunday. In fact, you can make the case that the top 4 teams in the National Football League will be squaring off against each other on Sunday afternoon and Sunday night.
Let me take a look at this, man.
You've got a Buffalo-Kansas City game on CBS at 3:25. Those are 2 4-1 teams, the only 4-1 teams in the AFC. And over in the NFC, the only unbeaten team in the league right now, the Philadelphia Eagles, hosting the 4-1 Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. There's only, I think, one other 4-1 team in the entire league. No, there's 2 more. There's Giants. Two more. The Giants.
Yes, the Giants.
That's the other thing. The Giants play the Ravens also on Sunday afternoon at noon Ravens Dallas time. Right? Ravens are 3-2. Giants are 4-1.
Yes.
And then there's one other 4-1 team in the league. That little trivia question as we start today's show. Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola. They are all confused.
No, I'm on it.
You got it. You have
the Vikings.
Yep, there it is.
You have the Vikings.
Yep.
4-1. They're playing again in Miami against the Dolphins.
Yep.
At 3-2. That could be an upset.
And can you find another 4-1 team?
4-1 team, that would be.
You said the Giants?
We said the Giants.
4-1 Giants, Bills, Chiefs, and Cowboys.
That's right. And it's here's your schedule for Sunday. You got
schedule.
The Ravens and the 4-1 Giants at noon on CBS. At 3:25 on CBS, you got the 4-1 Bills and the 4-1 Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And then Sunday night, you got the 4-1 Cowboys at the 5-0 Eagles.
People are going to be worn out by the time the Sunday night game starts.
Here's a development. It's kind of related to that. So what's the tight end's name? Greg Olsen?
Yes.
He's now the number 1 guy?
Analyst.
He's the number 1 guy now.
Yeah.
Now that Troy went to
Now
ESPN.
that Troy's gone. What happened to Daryl Johnson?
Well, actually, Daryl is
I always thought he was really good.
I think he's basically on the number 2 team right now.
How did Olsen jump ahead of Moose?
Well, here's what happened with Daryl.
He has more hair.
Daryl was
great hair, by the way.
Daryl was climbing the charts, and then he got set back a little bit, and then now he's on the rise.
Trying to rise back up.
So he's on the rise again. Yeah. We haven't had him for a game yet, right?
No.
And we need him for a game. Yeah. You know, one of the things with him, Daryl Johnson was the man in charge of the revival of the USFL and the TV contract that was involved in that on Fox and everything.
Really?
And I think the Fox executives, were working with Daryl on that, and they figured out, this guy's pretty sharp.
Like we've
known for 30 years.
Right.
And I think his stock is once again rising at the network because those executives have been around him enough to know that, hey.
It's unusual that he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt,
Right.
It seems like
they
everyone
just
else
sold
has.
him short.
Well, it's with age,
yeah, that's what it is. His hair is too gray.
There you go. All right, so here we are, and there's still a lot we could get to about the Sunday win against the Rams, but there's so much to look forward to Sunday night against the Eagles, too.
Also, there's so much to talk about
from last night,
this
too.
Doggone the quarterbacks, man. What are we doing with the QBs? I mean, are we going to consider them football players? Are we just going to consider them
I'm glad you
mannequins?
went there, Everson, because that's where my wife was going. She's a Texas Tech grad, and there's so many of those Texas Tech grads who are into those Kansas City Chiefs. And so she's watching the Cowboys, and now she's watching the Kansas City Chiefs because of Mahomes.
Yeah.
And she just got so mad last night, she just went to bed after that penalty.
The one against Jones.
Against Chris Jones,
yes.
yeah.
That was. I just don't understand it.
She can't understand it either.
I mean, you can protect quarterbacks without ruining the game and without being so involved in it as an official that you are the reason for the outcome of the game. You don't want to be a part of the game. You want to be seamless. It's like you're not even there. And right now, referees are really injecting themselves into ball games unnecessarily.
I think they're paranoid. Like if we miss that call,
the Tua thing,
yeah. Same thing.
Such a difference, though.
Yeah,
you
I
can
know.
kind of see it. It's right there. The Tua thing, he had a history, which went back 7 days.
Right.
Well, less than that.
4 days.
Went back 4 days. Mm-hmm. And you could see how he went down. You have to use your own common sense as you judge the play. Right there in real time. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady was not under any duress. I don't know why he got upset about the sack. First of all, he seemed like he tried to kick the guy when he was getting up off of him. I don't know what that was all about. I don't know if that had anything to do with the referee throwing the flag, because there's in no way Brady was treated like Tua. And then you look at last night with Carr, the same thing. Not only did he not land on him, he stripped him of the ball. So when you strip someone of the ball, the quarterback is no longer an issue. Now you have the man with the ball, and that, to me, is the priority of the entire
Well, the
play.
other thing is when you've got the ball cradled in your arm, you cannot stop your fall. Okay, you stop it with your left hand, and it almost looked like his left hand, he was trying to let Carr down easy, in my opinion.
Now, listen, when do we... Okay, if I'm 350 or 320
pounds,
fall
somewhere. There's
I gotta
gravity
fall,
involved here.
Dude. Gravity comes. That's what kills me. Like, okay, I fell on him with all my weight. Well, how do I use partial weight?
Yeah.
How do you fall on someone using half your weight? I don't understand it.
And it's not like because he's got the ball, right? I mean, you got to tackle him.
Mm-hmm.
How many times did Cooper Rush get sacked in the game?
3.
Did we look at his sacks? Have we looked at his sacks?
I haven't gone back.
Did they look
yet.
as it was he landed on? He almost got killed by Ramsey.
Right,
I don't even remember if Ramsey landed on him or not, but I know that the ball, thank God, was like right there.
Somehow
he fell on
hung
top
on.
of it. Ooh, man. So, come on, that could have been called.
In the Grady Jarrett tackle of Brady, I mean, I thought he was taking care of Brady as he took him down. He didn't slam him.
He slung him, but I mean, he's tall. You got to bring him down.
He rolled
some
with
kind of
him.
Way. He had to.
Yeah,
he had
right.
to. Oh, it's killing me, man. I mean,
it's
and it affected the outcome of the game. It affected the outcome of the game.
It's almost like they're erring on the side of, if I don't call this, I'm in trouble.
Because it's a top of mind right now.
Right.
After what happened with Tua.
I would feel safe as a referee that if I did not make that call, I would be okay with it. I would not feel like I was in fear of not going, going further into the playoffs as a referee.
Okay, so I think what they need to do, and they won't, but they need to have an eye in the sky.
Well, they sort of do.
But they need to, with the authority, that if there is an egregious mistake made like that, that they and it's a judgment call, just like it's a judgment call on the field. And don't put the official in the position where he has to make that judgment call in real time, spur of the moment like that. You have the benefit of replay up top. And it doesn't have to be a challenge or anything like that. It's just you have an observer at every single game, the eye in the sky, and when something like that happens, and it can be the other way. I mean, let's say the Tua thing happens and the official doesn't make the call on the field, then you can say, no, that one needs to be looked at.
I wonder when they get judged, if they get judged more harshly, if they don't call it, than if they do call one that really isn't. Like, do they say, well, all right.
Which one holds more weight?
Yeah, which one holds more weight?
Well, it's almost like what's happened on turnovers, where if there's a fumble on the field, they will let it play out, even though they don't think it was a fumble. They'll play it out to make sure and that the whistle isn't blown.
Even in ridiculous circumstances.
And so the call on the field becomes it's a fumble, okay?
Right.
And then they review it, and so that takes priority.
Well, you have to start
over.
from a base.
Right.
Right.
And it's almost like that if I think that it was too aggressive, I'm going to call it. just to cover my butt.
It lends to just privilege, man. You know, I'm a defensive back. If I'm a DB, I'm a running back. Now, we're out there getting the hell knocked out of each other. And then this guy gets laid on the ground, and we have to protect him. I'm sorry, guys. It doesn't lend to having much respect for that position itself because it's being treated so.
And if they're going to call it like this, there's going to be a whole lot of flopping going on amongst these quarterbacks.
And so now, you better call it like if I just got you.
Oh,
then,
no.
Yeah. That's not what I expected you to do.
Sort of.
But
I'm floppy.
But so you have to be. It's funny, but you have to be now in the grasp. Better be quick. It better be quick. If I just have you any kind of casual way, you better blow the whistle now.
No,
Hey, the
exactly.
beginning
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And what was happening at the beginning of that game last night? I mean, they were sacking the quarterback, and they were just running up to him and putting him in a grasp, and that was it.
Sort of like the Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
That's what it reminds me of.
That's
the
what it
Pro
was.
Bowl.
The beginning-
Thank you.
the beginning of the game, it was
That's
like
the
that.
vision I have. We got quarterbacks.
Okay, I'm holding you up now. You're not going anywhere.
You just had to wrap them up. That's all you got to do. Don't take them to the ground.
You better call it quick now. You got to blow that whistle quick now. If this is what we're going to have, if this is going to be prevalent, we better call it real quick.
Should have brought my white hat in today.
Yeah, we need the daggone rant. We just ranted. Man, it's too late now. Shoot.
But, I mean, it's a problem that they need to address. The owners meet next week. And
Yeah, I'd
they
say
don't typically-
immediate. I'd say it better be immediate.
Yeah, and it needs something needs
You
to be done.
you got the outcome of games in the wake here. This is crazy.
When you got a lady who is a Patrick Mahomes fan and she's going to bed because
Something has to be done right now, damn it.
I mean you're losing those fans that you could consider casual fans that put this league over the top as far as viewership
No
and
doubt.
popularity.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. All right, so Jerry was on the radio this morning. Jerry is now the countdown to birthday number 80. It's 2 days away now.
That's right.
Turns 80
Thursday.
on Thursday, and he had the first half of his birthday gift on Sunday.
He's looking for the second half this coming Sunday.
There you go.
That would be
Nowadays we have
gift
a birthday,
enough.
birthday month. You celebrate all month
Yeah.
nowadays. So is that what he's going to do? Just party all month?
If they continue
as
to
long
win,
as-
Right, there you go.
Everyone will be in favor of that if they continue to win. You have a chance to listen to him this morning?
I did go back and listen to it. Trying to see where all
Got any update for us?
notes are.
Now,
Such
Dak's
as-
paying a visit to the doctor, I assume, today for a
Is it
little
today?
checkup.
But it's about the grip.
Got to be able to spin it.
Got to spin it.
Uh huh.
If you can't
that's the
spin
key.
it and you need your thumb to spin it,
Oh man.
That's going to be, and so we'll see what he's able to do out on the practice field tomorrow, right?
I don't think they're not letting anyone see him throw the ball.
and they're not going to say
He's going to be
anything, right?
indoors. He's not going to be outdoors.
It's like Mike saying it's day to day, right? Well, yeah, it's day to day.
That's a Bill Belichick's.
Yeah, that's
line.
the easy way to get out of it. Even if he happens to throw the football, and as I told you, can he take a snap? He might be able to spin it, but you better be able to take a snap under center.
Because that thing is coming fast and hard.
Right.
Yeah.
And it
A center doesn't have the luxury to
can't just kind
right.
of gently
take
put
a little
it up
off
there.
of it, right?
Not like my handshake, right?
Right.
So, yeah. And I'm glad he made mention of this because now everybody's like, okay, when Dak comes back, now they've got the formula to win. You play good defense and run the football.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what happens when somebody scores 25, 30 points on you? Can't play cozy football.
No.
And he was pointing out how and maybe McCarthy did too, or maybe it was Kellen Moore. They all go together. But this is a league of big plays. You want to stop them, but you need them offensively.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to win a heck of a lot of games scoring 22 points.
Now, what Cooper has done, he has come through in the clutch.
Right.
Because the defense has they kept him in the position
Close
to
enough.
win the game.
Right.
And to make those plays on third down, move the chains, get that field goal or get that last touchdown.
I was trying to see how Jerry put it here. He said there's a big play influence on better defense. He was just talking about, as long as you're not turning the ball over, you can kind of play this. But then you've got a resource like Dak who can come up with the big plays.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to mute that? And I think people have gotten carried away with this. Run the football. Okay, so I looked, and I think maybe 2 of the 5 games they've played, they rushed for 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you got this rushing juggernaut out there.
Mm-hmm.
It worked this game because the defense held the Rams to 10 points. What if the Eagles score 27? You're just going to keep handing the ball and, okay, well, you better run for 57-yard touchdown then to be able to make up for it. So they are playing the way they should be playing with a backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And, let's not get carried away that, all you got to do is, complete 10 of 16 passes for 102 yards and you can win. Not every Sunday. I wouldn't lay my bet on that.
You have too many good teams in the league whose offenses are eventually, you're going to come up against an offense that's going to give our defense problems. It's just the way it is. You're in the NFL. You got 17 games. Someone's going to figure out what your weakness is. I don't care how good the team is. We've seen it in the past. And especially as you get closer to the end of the season and into the playoffs. Coaches are smart. They can game plan you very well in big games, and you have to be prepared to answer that yourself. I don't mind Cooper Rush with his menial yardage. I like the fact that he makes the plays when we need to make them. And I'm hoping that when Dak comes back, we can keep the same formula, but there are going to be moments to where we need more big offensive plays. That's going to come.
Right.
We're going to need more offensive plays, and we're going to need them in bunches.
And you know why? Because the league is about to start scoring more points than what they've scored the first month of the season.
Right.
As Nate Newton has put it, we got through the preseason. Okay, yeah. Cowboys went 3-1 in the preseason, and now they're 1-0 in the regular season,
right.
And the rest of because no one's playing in the preseason,
right.
And so now we use September for the preseason, and so the offenses are now starting to catch up with the defenses.
When you look at that one extra game, you really got 2 extra weeks. God, it just still kind of tips the scale a little bit, and sometimes you can't predict it. So here we are with 17 games. It just makes that season seem even longer. And so the changes are going to be made, and people are going to have to adapt more than once during the season.
And while all games are important, right, because you only got 17, but it kind of got put to me today was, if you win this game. I said, what if you lose the game? You still got, 11 more games to play?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you win this game and, okay, it's over with, right? The best you are is tied for first place.
And right now, we looked at the NFC East as, the bottom of the league. Now our schedule looks from going to one of the easiest in the NFL to a pretty formidable
Amazing how that happens.
Yeah, right? Like when you have to play.
Yeah, all of a sudden the Giants and the Eagles are different games.
So I found out what Jerry said. He said,
it only took you 10 minutes.
No, I found it. When you have a highly skilled player, meaning Dak, you don't want to mute him. And then he went on to say, and thank goodness we are successful not having that dimension. And when we get it back, that will be a real additive. We'll be a mess if we can keep playing defense like this. So his point is, what?
You go ahead.
His point is, you keep playing defense like this and add some more offense, you're going to be pretty darn good.
And that gives Dak the biggest endorsement so far from Jerry, because everyone's been, trying to read behind Jerry's statements,
right,
and trying to say that he's like putting the pressure on Dak. Dak was never a guy that he really ever believed in.
And he keeps saying, though, isn't that great that you ask me that question? Because that means Cooper Rush is playing well enough for somebody to propose that question.
What you got, Bill?
Okay, you want to
look at this legal pad. I mean, the legal pad. Look at all the notes. Look at all the notes that he takes from a Jerry Jones radio interview.
That's got to be over a few weeks, right?
That's something that coaches need to learn from. You can't have too much on your play sheet. You won't be able to find that play call in time.
I got it here somewhere.
That play clock is
This is the
play-by-play
from the game.
More Mick shots in just a moment.
Yeah, I figured there was a cumulative.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. From corporate homes to your home, have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, 214-225-4860, kpostcompany.com. And, you know, reading this reminded me of something that happened way long time ago.
Is this a Mick shot?
Yeah, it is.
Hold on. Okay, it was an impromptu Mick shot.
So the top says K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, and in parentheses it says every day, right? That was the instructions.
Mm-hmm.
So back when on the website, somebody wrote someone's name and they didn't get it right. So I emailed the person that was putting the stuff up, and I said, no, the headline should read this, and it was supposed to be possessive. So I put it in parentheses.
Mm-hmm.
They reprinted the headline with possessive at the end.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get that was the instruction. That the person's name wasn't Everson Walls possessive. I just wanted the apostrophe up there.
You weren't clear, man. You weren't clear, man.
Unbelievable.
And we just learned in the break that Everson Walls skipped second grade?
Skipped first grade.
Skipped first grade.
I was in the first grade for 2 weeks. We took that aptitude test back in the day. I don't
You
think
were
they
so
do that
bright.
anymore.
You were so bright.
I was.
They
The
said.
standardized tests.
Yeah. Emphasis on was. Yeah. All of a sudden, man, when I got out of elementary school, it was like, ooh, this stuff is hard.
Nowadays, if they look to Everson, they're like, we're going to hold him back.
Yeah, right. I think they want to rescind it. They did.
Like 19 to be a really good athlete. You know?
So actually, you were probably
like
2 years younger than others that you were playing against in high school, those that were held back.
Yeah.
Not
to mention college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of those guys.
In the NFL. Mm-hmm. And so how old were you when you graduated from Berkner?
17.
17.
But my birthday is in late December.
Okay.
So, I did my whole freshman year at Grambling. I was still 17. The football
so how old were you when you were drafted? Oh, never mind. When after the draft.
When I was not
when you got
drafted. When I was undrafted. Right?
When you got 11 picks in his rookie year,
Still
you were
21.
21 years old.
I was 21 the whole season.
That's a record that will never be broken.
Tyler Smith, the youngest person to ever have 11 interceptions.
Actually at 13.
Yeah.
Because count the playoffs.
Well, but then by the time the playoffs came, I was
he was older.
Yeah, I was already 22.
At the start of the season, you were 21.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
and the end of the season.
About my notes, I wrote down. You remember the deep pass to Atwell?
Mm-hmm.
That's his name?
Tutu Atwell.
Yes.
And Diggs was right there. And I wrote down in my notes, Malik Hooker late coming over.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday in Dan Quinn's press conference, someone said something about how he's playing, and he goes, there was a couple big plays, but one of them really, Hooker was supposed to be over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, see, I had it in my notes.
Tom Landry would never do that.
He would
never do that. He'd be like, you just bathe in it.
If the safety sold
right.
you out.
Yeah, as a quarterback, you just take it there, buddy. Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw
it. Well, I love the honesty on it too. And when Malik Hooker,
accountability.
Well, but when Malik Hooker also is playing as well as he is,
you can do that.
Yes.
And he prefaced it. What is it when you do it afterwards? Post said it, whatever, and he said
followed up with,
and he said it, and I'm sure Malik would admit to it,
right?
Like he knew that he should have been there, and it was one hell of a pass, by the way, and a catch, and his hand was right there by the ball, but he should have had safety help.
I like that.
And he pointed out that on the other one, meaning the touchdown to Cup, he said he should have stayed over the top of his shoulder instead of
trying to undercut
it. Because when you're on the top and he catches it, he's got to turn towards you.
Hey, trust me.
Right?
Yes, that's the only way I could play it. When you're slow, you have to play it like that.
But when you're under,
but when you have speed,
right?
If you recall, Diggs got an interception like that last year. He was able to catch up with the receiver, but only because the quarterback waited until he got to the sideline. This time, Matthew caught him just as he was coming across the middle of the field. He didn't wait for Diggs to catch up.
And the rest of the field had been cleared out.
But here's the other thing. Tom Landry, one thing, I hated the way he taught us man-to-man at times because he made us prioritize. One thing is you have to be inside and deep. Because if you are not inside and deep on your coverage, most likely there's no one there to stop your receiver from scoring a touchdown, just like we saw against Cooper Kupp. My thing is this. And not just the Cowboys, DBs now are allowing these receivers to just release inside.
Well, he was in the slot, and he couldn't get his hands on him.
But, that's why your alignment is important.
Right.
And when he came off the line of scrimmage, Diggs was a beat slow. And Kupp was that's why Kupp is good.
That's why he was in the slot too, by the way.
But you have to be prepared for the worst case scenario.
Meaning,
and that is the worst case scenario. A quick release inside, he has leverage on you now. That's why when we played the flex, there were times when you saw wide receivers catching sideline after sideline on us. Unless you change the defense, that was the weakness of our defense, and Tom Landry allowed us to give up that route because it's the weakness of the defense. They were so paranoid. Do you remember Billy Wiley?
Oh, yeah.
Rams. And they beat us 1980. I wasn't there yet. 1980, we lost the game because Billy White ran all the way across the field on the end cut for a touchdown in Texas Stadium. And that just that was a surprise. We weren't ready for that. And it knocked us out of the playoffs. That right there taught Tom Landry a lesson. And that was the reason that we played man-to-man the way we did. Worst case scenario is a release inside or a route inside. You have no help if he catches that ball. And that's what's been happening throughout the entire league. Kelsey, 4 touchdowns last night. Each time he released inside and there was no one there. I don't know why. I don't like the design of the defense itself if you're just going to let them run inside and you chase them with the hopes of tracking them down before they catch it and go to the house.
Or they were playing zone, maybe?
No, no zone.
They were in
No,
man.
they were in man-to-man. They were in man-to-man all 4 times. All 4 times. So I just think it's a flaw in the design, the way they have defensive backs playing these days.
Speaking of Kelsey, I saw in the Philadelphia Inquirer that Jason Kelsey and Landon Dickerson, both kind of injury concerns going into this week of practice.
Jason Kelsey. Jason, as good as Travis Kelsey is, Jason Kelsey is just as good as a center.
Yeah. So that's one we'll keep an eye on when they practice tomorrow.
They have any other injuries?
That was the only 2 I saw that were highlighted.
Because this is going to be our challenge. This will be the best offensive line that we played against so far. The mistakes that the Bengals made, these Eagles don't do that.
Yeah. And that's why, they may have to give Parsons a couple days this week to try to get him strong enough for the game. Jerry thought that he would be able to do something on Wednesday and be ready for the game on Sunday. I'm thinking if they have to, go sit over there. Don't worry about Wednesday and Thursday. We just need you. And if all I need you to do is come in on 3rd down, it's nothing fancy, right? Go get the quarterback. You didn't got to practice that. So, yeah.
Which position do you think would be more taxing on him in regards to his injury?
I think linebacker maybe, because you've got so many different ways you got to go, right? You might have to drop. You got to go sideways and maybe run 5-6 yards. When you're rushing the quarterback,
a lot of pivoting and
you're just going straight, right? You might have a little spin move, although you're trying to push a 330-pound guy out of the way, which he a lot of times does. At his size, It's amazing the times he bull rushes.
Well, even the last sack he had. He just came into the huddle, limping into the huddle, and then he just just bull rushes
and
the
just
guy.
kept coming, right? And it's almost like they're backing up and they can't stay with him. It's an amazing talent he has.
All right, I'm just lost in thought on Billy Waddy.
He's still there.
You got me.
I just wanted to make a point.
You got me researching Billy Waddy, and it's just interesting because it was actually 1979.
Yeah,
which was
might have been 80 in the
calendar
playoffs.
year.
Yeah, and it was. It was December 30th, 1979, and it turned out it was Roger Staubach's last game as a Dallas Cowboy, and it was a 20
last play got sacked.
The last playoff game. Last regular season game was the win over
against Washington 35-34
to get into the playoffs.
Lamar Paris got beat by Tony Hill. Yeah.
Tony Hill, right corner of the end zone.
That's right, out, baby.
Yep.
You got to believe.
Charlie Waters. He couldn't play that year because of the leg.
Broken leg.
Yeah.
This is a funny story. I sprained my ankle after Roger Staubach's touchdown pass to Tony Hill to win.
What do you mean,
game.
jumping up in the air?
I believe it. I believe it.
College frat house.
I believe it.
College
that was a great
house.
moment, bro.
Okay. He completes that pass. I went running out of our frat house, jumping up and down and sprained my ankle. That's the first time I've ever admitted that.
I could see it. Really. I could see it, man. That was a great moment. I mean, the comeback itself, and of course they had the picture of Springs jumped into Staubach's arms. They have a good picture of that after he threw that touchdown. Yeah, Roger lifting up Ron Springs.
Yeah, and so then the following week it was Cowboys Rams in the playoffs, and it was Billy Waddy 50 yards from Vince.
We had the game. And he's
it's a 19-14 lead.
Yeah. He came just a deep end cut across the middle, and from then on, Tom Landry changed the way we covered wide receivers from then on. And I have been teaching kids at camps to do the same thing, and they hate it because they're like, I don't want to just give up the outside short routes. It just kills them. I'm like, don't worry, man, it's going to come to you. And every time it does, you have to be patient.
There you go.
That is wild. Mm-hmm. That's some great history right there.
Real stuff.
That's stuff you don't get just anywhere else.
That's real
All right, Nate Newton has informed us it's time for us to take a late break here on Mick Shots.
I'm surprised he's not peeking around the corner somewhere.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more. Back to Mick Shots.
NFL Plus is here, which means no matter where you are, this is how you football. Get live, local, and primetime regular season and postseason games on your phone or your tablet, game replays, and more. Go to plus.nfl.com and start your free trial of NFL Plus today.
That's a new one.
It is. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a new second one all week, by the way.
Oh, all right. Did you hear what's going on in Washington with Ron Rivera? Apparently,
I saw a headline, but I didn't read the story.
Ralph Vacchiano is reporting today that Commanders coach Ron Rivera, one day after saying quarterback is why other teams have pulled ahead of his team in the NFC East. Today, he opened his press conference saying he spoke to the team before practice this morning and apologized for his Monday comments, which he said he didn't present well. I should know better. S word, I had a bad day. Let's move forward.
He was still pissed off.
He was still mad
pissed off
and
at his
frustrated,
quarterback, right?
Well, it was a end zone interception
Man,
at the end?
it was, dude, it was typical.
I didn't see it.
You know what? I have always liked Carson Wentz. I really have. Watching him, develop, especially when he took the Eagles to the playoffs that year. He showed a lot of grit, man. I mean,
the way he won the Super Bowl that year. Oh, no, that was
he didn't.
Foles,
It was not him, but he had something to do with it. This guy, man, just snake bit. Well, I wouldn't say that's not bad luck, just bad decisions. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't think he ever saw the linebacker. Because when he threw that pass, it looked like he was Aaron Rodgers. It looked like he was, Matthew Stafford, where he's just going to flip it off in there, Mahomes. And it was going to be a good play, but the tight end, the linebacker saw it, and he had 300-plus yards passing. He was having a great game. But this is what he does. He did it to the Colts last year, and that's 2 coaches that are going to be in trouble because of him. Because Frank Reich, they were mad at him last year. I'm surprised he still has his job this year because they were so upset that he put all his faith into Carson Wentz. He said it verbally, Hard Knocks, in season. Mm-hmm. This is our guy. We're going to ride our quarterback, and he can do it. He always backs the wrong horse. Well, in this case, that wrong horse has been backed a couple of times.
Poor quarterback play will get a coach fired.
It sure will.
Matt Rule.
It sure will. It sure will. And 320-plus yards passing. He had a couple of touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. And he just throws that. Oh, man. And you could just see how disappointed he was. I know he's thinking to himself, man, am I stupid? You know? I mean, come on. We've all said it to each other, right? You know we have. Man, how could I have been so stupid?
Okay, so let's examine the NFC East, the quarterback play. Well, okay, you've got Jalen Hurts at Philadelphia, and here in Dallas, Dak, the first game, but the wins have been with Cooper Rush at quarterback, and then Daniel Jones with the Giants. We're coming off a win over Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in London on Sunday.
So, which messes up our preseason preview of the conference, saying, well, when you look at the conference, who are you going to pick, or the division, who are you going to pick to win? Well, who has the best quarterback? Well, it's Dak Prescott.
Now he's nowhere to be found.
Now he's not found, and Daniel Jones and Hurts are playing,
okay, and
good
so
football.
What are the Eagles doing? And we'll get more into them as we go through the week. But you're talking about points scored. And the Eagles in the first game of the year against Detroit, they got a big lead, and then they held them off for a 38-35 win. But since then, they've scored 24, 24, 29 in the rain in Jacksonville, and then 20 against Arizona. So it's not like they've been in the 30s every game.
And if you listen to Jalen Hurts' interview afterwards, he was pretty honest about that. As happy as he was, he's like, we've got to play better.
And you got Cooper Rush's stats there?
Yeah.
No picks.
Let me tell you.
4 touchdown passes.
So
that's what matters right there.
His quarterback rating is 93.9, and I also figured out if you throw out that what did he play? A quarter
in the
first
Tampa Bay
game when he came in.
So as a starter,
his quarterback rating is 92.
Okay.
No picks, 4 touchdowns. He's completed right at 61% of his passes, which is what he has now.
How many sacks?
7.
Okay.
And I don't know how many of those might have been in the first game.
Hurts has 4 touchdown passes, 2 picks, and been sacked 11 times. He's run 68 times for 266 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Question.
That's the difference right there.
That's what's making. And think about it. You play defense. You get a team 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, and the quarterback takes off for 15 yards.
Randall Cunningham.
It just breaks your heart, right?
Same team. Yep, Randall Cunningham. Happened all the time back in the 80s. And that's just the way it was. We had a lot of quarterbacks that had that ability. Jeff Hostetler, he helped carry us to the Super Bowl with the Giants just by doing that, not just in the Super Bowl and the playoffs, but he led us down the stretch during the regular season with timely scrambles that really got us out of a lot of trouble and helped us win games.
So 2 things on that for this game, and it's probably too early to start analyzing it. But number 1, they can't let Hurts when they rush the quarterback. It can't be all
out of play.
Here we go. We're just going to get them.
It's got to be the same thing,
right?
Russell Wilson early in his career,
right?
Where you got to be controlled in your pass rush.
You can't just be out of control, saying, "Okay, I got to get to the quarterback no matter what." And then secondly, and who did they do this with? Maybe a little bit with the Giants, with Daniel Jones. They had somebody watching for and I think it was Donovan Wilson quite a bit. And you would like Micah Parsons doing that, but if he's somewhat limited, we'll go back to where we started
I like
with
Donovan Wilson doing that.
Yeah.
I like J-Ron Kearse doing that.
And they
and J-Ron wasn't available
J-Ron's
that game.
Donovan might be faster,
going to be.
though.
That's true, but J-Ron's going to be close. They'll probably play him closer to the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Yeah, and let Wilson help in the back.
Because he's going to go. He's going to take off.
Who's taking Goddard?
That would be J-Ron.
J-Ron Kearse.
That's why you have Kearse on Goddard and then Wilson as your.
And now Wilson could also cover the tight end. He could cover Goddard too.
Yeah.
And that's the luxury that we have.
He's gotten better at that.
Yeah.
266 yards rushing. But here's the bottom line on 266 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Well, yeah, they know when they get in the red zone, especially.
Oh, he's going to run.
That's him.
Right? Close to the goal line,
no
he's
doubt.
keeping it.
Yeah. And so when you look at a team like that, I say a quarterback of that caliber doing the things that he does, that's going to cause us to play more zone defense. You just don't really want to be playing man-to-man with your back turned to a quarterback that has a tendency to take off.
Right.
You know, that could really lead to some huge plays. Our zone defense is so good, we can attack someone, you know, in unison and keep those scrambles to a minimum. I think it'd be the smarter way to go in more predictable circumstances.
Now, the other thing I saw
at 12:46.
Hey, man, wow.
Well, we'll finish here and pick up tomorrow.
Yeah, let's do that.
You want to tease the other thing that you saw?
I want to say it, and then we'll verify it tomorrow. You want to tease for tomorrow?
No. Yeah, okay.
That is
you're going to say
that is
it.
a tease.
Oh,
you're going to say
that's a tease.
And we're going to double check it. But I read that this is only the 3rd time in Eagles history they've been 5-0.
Wow.
So we're going to research to see how many times the Dallas Cowboys have been 5-0 to start a season.
Okay, that's coming up on the next edition of Mick Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!